now back in the guide on page 33. Thank you, Sam. So this is, again, the beginning of our checklist items after the criteria, checklist item number 3, the Community Fact Finder Report and Handbook Form. Now, Natalie talked about this a lot earlier today, but this is just the reminder that this covers the same requirements of the Fact Finder Handbook that were already explained. In summary, you need to provide one final Fact Finder report for your project site. And the certification form on page 34 reminds you that acreage that should or should not be counted within the project site's radius has to be reported to the SCORP email account. And your Fact Finder report must be generated with a pin located in the boundary of the project site. As was mentioned before, we do review every single Fact Finder report that comes into our office with your application. And if it is determined that there's acreage that's missing that should have been counted, or that your pin is not in your project site, we will move your pin to the middle of your project site and we will create a new report and use those numbers, which could make your project ineligible or less competitive. It is really important that you submit that information to the SCORP email address and do it early. The longer you wait, the more time it takes for us to review all of that, and it could bog down the process a bit. This form is signed by your authorized representative. And as a reminder, this form and your Community Fact Finder report are submitted together here underneath checklist item number 3. So now we are on page 35, and this is the authorizing resolution. So the authorizing resolution serves 2 purposes. It's a place for the governing body to approve the application and certify that it understands the grant requirements should the grant be awarded. And it's also the place for them to designate a position title through provision 4 to sign all forms throughout the application. Again, we're looking for a position title, not a person's name. People move around, but the city manager or the Park and Recreation Department director, that's a standardized position, and we know that that person can always sign. If you turn to page 36 of the guide, this is the template for the authorizing resolution. And again, here for provision 4, this is where you delegate the authority to a position. This person can delegate or designate other authority as needed for signing other forms. But again, we're looking for a position title. And please make sure that you keep the same language here that is in the template. You can reformat it if you need to. So again, please use the chat feature if you have questions.